ever catch yourself, like right before you're about to start coding, you get that feeling like, wait a minute, do they actually think I know what I'm doing? Like, you're kind of putting on a bit of a show.
Right.
You're not alone if you've had that thought.
Right.
That my friend is basically the programmer's oldest friend and enemy, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But what if I told you that feeling of being a phony, it could actually be a good thing?
Okay, interesting.
On this deep dive, we're going to unpack why so many programmers feel like they're faking it.
Okay.
And then how to turn that into something that actually makes you a better coder.
What's wild is imposter syndrome isn't just a tech thing.
Okay.
You see it everywhere. But it really pops up in programming in an interesting way.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
should we define it?
Yeah. Let's put a name to the face.
All right, so picture this. You land your dream coding gig.
Nice.
Instead of being over the moon excited, you hear this voice saying, okay, but they're going to figure out that you're a fake.
Oh,
That's imposter syndrome.
okay.
You doubt what you can do, what you've done, even when everything says you're doing great. You think you just got lucky.
It's that feeling of, I got away with it this time.
Yes.
But I can't keep getting away with it.
Exactly.
Like any day now, they're going to figure out I don't belong.
You're going to expose me.
I'm a total fraud.
You nailed it.
Really?
And that feeling can make you do all sorts of things.
Okay.
Comparing yourself to other programmers,
Right.
downplaying your wins, even overworking, just to make up for this feeling of not being good enough.
So we defined what it is, but why is it so common for programmers specifically?
Yeah.
Is it something about the code itself that's making us feel this way?
Some days it feels that way, right?
Yeah.
But there's some concrete things that make programming the perfect breeding ground for imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Number one, technology moves so fast.
Oh, yeah, it changes all the time.
It's like trying to eat while someone keeps piling more on your plate.
That's a good analogy.
You got new languages, frameworks, tools popping up every other week.
Right.
Just keeping up can feel like a marathon you can never finish.
And on top of that, it's not even like one set of skills you have to learn to be a programmer. You've
Right.
got like your front end and your back end and AI and machine learning.
Exactly.
There's no way one person can be an expert on all of it.
And that feeling of being a jack of all trades, master of none,
Yeah.
that's like the breeding ground for imposter syndrome right there. You're constantly aware of what you don't know, which can be really intimidating,
Right.
even if you've been coding for years.
It's like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Exactly. And then you throw in how the media portrays programmers.
Oh, you mean like the stereotypical hoodie-wearing genius?
Yeah.
Who can like hack into any computer system with like 5 keystrokes?
Exactly. And they're like 12 years old.
Right before they even have their driver's license?
Exactly. That's not realistic, but it sets the bar crazy high.
Yeah.
So no wonder everyone feels like they don't measure up.
Right. And then on top of all that, you've got what it actually means to be a programmer day to day.
Right. The actual work
The
itself.
problem solving, the debugging all the errors.
That's a lot of trial and error.
It can be brutal on your ego.
Totally. So far, this just sounds kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Like imposter syndromes is a recipe for misery. But at the beginning, you said it might be a good thing.
Right.
So help me understand this because I'm not there yet.
Okay. Think about it like this.
Okay.
Someone who has no clue how to code,
Right.
they wouldn't even know enough to feel like an imposter.
That's true.
It's because you care so much about coding that you're aware of all the things you don't know yet.
So it's almost like a sign that you're on the right track
Yeah,
because it means you actually care about becoming better.
exactly.
That's interesting.
That doubt you feel can actually push you to work harder,
Okay.
learn new things, and to get better.
So it's like a motivator in a way.
Totally.
But how do you make sure it doesn't become too much?
Because there's a difference between healthy pushing yourself and just beating yourself up.
You're right. It's about changing how you think about it
Okay?
and having strategies for when it pops up. One thing that really works is focusing on what you have accomplished.
Instead of what you haven't.
Yeah,
So like celebrating the wins, even if they're small.
exactly. Like every time you figure out a bug or learn a new concept, write it down.
Oh, like keep a list.
Yeah, think of it like a wins journal.
I like
That way you have something to look back on when you start to doubt yourself.
I know. I'm totally guilty of focusing on the one thing that went wrong
Yeah.
instead of all the things I did right.
It's so easy to do that.
It is.
Another thing to remember is that it's okay to ask for help.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, it's a sign that you're smart and that you want to learn.
Right.
Programming isn't about memorizing everything. It's about understanding the big picture. and knowing where to find the answers.
And that's where things like Algo Academy can be so helpful, right?
Absolutely.
Because they give you that structured learning and support.
Yeah, it's like having a personal trainer for your coding journey.
I like that.
They're there to guide you, challenge you, and celebrate with you every step of the way.
Okay, so you're learning, you're getting support, but what about that feeling that you're alone?
Yeah.
Like nobody else feels this way
Right.
because it can be really isolating.
It can. And if you're listening to this and relating to that feeling,
Yeah.
what's the most important thing to remember?
What would you say to someone who's feeling that way right now?
You are not alone.
Okay.
It's so common,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the fast-paced world of programming.
Right.
We often don't talk about it openly,
Yeah.
but the truth is,
Mm-hmm.
even the most experienced programmers experience imposter syndrome. It's all part of the journey.
It's like that saying, everybody feels like a fraud. They just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Except me right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But instead of fearing that feeling,
Okay.
try to reframe it.
Mm-hmm.
See it as a signal
Okay.
that you're on a path of growth and learning.
Right.
You're challenging yourself.
Mhm.
You're surrounded by brilliant minds. You're passionate about your craft.
So the next
Right.
time you're coding and you think, I'm going to get found out, just remember what we talked about today.
Yes.
That feeling might actually be a sign
Mhm.
that you're on the path to becoming an amazing programmer.
You got this.
Maybe even the coding genius
Yeah.
that you always feared you weren't.
Embrace the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate the wins, no matter how small.
Okay.
And never stop learning. Because in the world of programming,
Cool.
the journey itself is the reward.
And hey, if you ever need a reminder, you can always revisit this deep dive. Until then, happy coding, everyone.